I mean, my mind is a storm. I don't think most people would want to be me. They may think they would want to be me, but they don't. They don't know.
Is your storm a happy storm?
No.
Elon, 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 Elon. Okay, that's going on for too long. But today, guys, we will be talking, as you can tell, about Elon Musk. Does he have a messiah complex? What do I mean by that? God complex is what I mean. Can we trust him? How is this man seemingly come out of not necessarily nowhere, but gone from tech genius to colonizing Mars, to now social media freedom of speech liberator, Trump's best friend? Doge was Department of Government Efficiency, to now creating a new political party, an AI that seems to be borderline sentient and perhaps racist. How did we get to this position? I don't really know, but I'm going to explore the facts with you and we're going to come to some sort of conclusion. So let's get into that. Okay guys, before we get into the episode and the real meat and potatoes of it, please do me one quick favor. Please like, comment, share and subscribe. If you enjoy this episode, share it, put into the comments, say what you like, what you dislike. I'm open to feedback. I don't really mind, just don't be too mean. If you do like it as well, hit the like button. If you are someone watching it, subscribe. Every little helps, trust me. But enough's enough for begging for your attention and approval. Let's get into the episode.
It's into space. Come here. Take over, Eli. Just take over. Hi, everyone.
I don't think it is quite possible to understand Elon, how he got to this Elon that seems, depending on who you ask, either malevolent or benevolent, supremely good or supremely bad. If you ask my friend Rem, he is a genius who is here to save the world. If you ask anyone with a normal brain, for better and for worse, they will have a complex understanding of him. If you're very liberal, you probably won't like him because of all the MAGA, Trump supporting, kind of transphobia, weird things he's been saying on X stuff. You won't be his biggest fan. But let's have a nuanced debate into that. But we have to look into his past. He was born in South Africa. He was, from a young age, labeled very intelligent, but was picked on because of that. He was a bit weird, very scrawny as well. It has been alleged, and it's just an allegation, that he also was a bit mean to the kids back, would also call them idiot.
Elon was actually the one who started the fight. The boy had just lost his father to suicide, and Elon had called him stupid. Errol says, Elon had this tendency to call people stupid. How could I possibly blame that child? Some see Elon as a victim of cruel bullies. Some took this quote from his father and thought that Elon lied to the media for all these years and that he was in fact the bully, just getting some much due retaliation.
I want to make it very clear that kids can be mean, so both things can be true, and I don't want that to be too much of an assassination of his character. But the reason I even mentioned it, because I would have thrown it out if I didn't think it was important, is that term was learnt from his father, who was, to use his words, was quite harsh on it.
Elon's father may not be the most trustworthy source either. Would you trust a man who raised a stepdaughter since she was 4 years old and then had 2 children with her when he was in his 70s? Elon's first wife, Justine, put it this way: with a childhood like his in South Africa, I think you have to shut yourself down emotionally in some ways. If your father is always calling you a moron and idiot, maybe the only response is to turn off anything inside that would have opened up an emotional dimension that he didn't have the tools to deal with.
One of the main reasons why I bring up that point is because if you look at some of his business dealings when he first took over Tesla, when he first took over X, formerly known as Twitter, when he was working for the government, still strange to say, but he was working for the government overseeing the Department of Government Efficiency. He fired a lot of people. And he often speaks about empathy, saying empathy can be a problem in business, can be a problem when you're dealing and trying to get to your goal.
The fundamental weakness of Western civilization is empathy. The empathy exploit. They're exploiting a bug in Western civilization, which is the empathy response.
And I think that lack of empathy is birthed from how his father treated him. Constantly, he was under the magnifying glass of a father who had very high standards. Now, some of you may assume and see Elon as the billionaire and think, you know, he comes from wealth. This is a guy that's extremely wealthy, but it's not actually the case.
Speaking of his dad, there's a lot of rumors that Elon came from a rich dad who owned emerald mines in South Africa, and that he was set up to be successful because of family wealth. This isn't factually accurate. Elon's dad did import emeralds, but there wasn't a lot of money in this family.
He never owned a emerald mine. This is total bullshit.
And again, I'm bringing that up so you understand that Elon has had a fairly tough upbringing. He hasn't had the traditional came from some sort of privilege background compared to some of the other billionaire and multi-millionaire contemporaries. And to be fair, he's not even just a billionaire. He is someone worth over 100 billion. He is an extremely rich man. And in order to get to that kind of wealth, where you are the 0.1% of people, you're gonna have a very difficult upbringing. You're gonna have an upbringing that probably has a caregiver that is extremely hard on you. His desire for excellence, his ingenuity started at a young age. He created a game very young.
March 1984, sold his first video game. By the age of 12, Musk sold the code of a basic-based video game he created called Blastar to a magazine called PC and Office Technology for approximately $500.
Sold that game, then used his network to get this website called X.com, not Twitter, and then was able to merge with eBay, eventually sold eBay, used that money to buy Tesla. He never came up with Tesla. He may have been the driving force, but he wasn't the founder.
I mean, this is one of the things that I found kind of fascinating about him is that he's actually accomplished some amazing things in his own right.
He's totally amazing.
Yeah, SpaceX is amazing, and he's done some interesting things with Tesla for sure. I'm not sure why he has to also say that he was a founder when he wasn't. I don't understand that.
And again, you can see these articles from The Atlantic, and I know if anyone's out there who's a really stringent reader of all these different sites, The Atlantic does have a little bit of a left-wing bias to it, so I want to make you aware of that. But he was known, especially from this Atlantic article, to just be somewhat kind of ruthless in the way he would deal with people. It's been said by the person who was writing a book about him that he had a dark side to him.
Well, there's certainly multiple Elon Musk, multiple personalities, whether it's the hardcore engineering mode that you know so well, where he can figure out how to do a battery cell, or more importantly, figure out how to do steps on an assembly line that will make the battery cell. But also there's almost a demon mode of Elon Musk, where he turns really dark. And that can be very problematic, especially when it came to acquiring Twitter, which I think involves more emotional intelligence. The other thing I learned about Musk is where those demons come from. And they come from a childhood that was rather brutal, a father that was psychologically abusive.
Many firings, as I said earlier, and that lack of empathy, like I said, is birthed from that childhood. But the genius was seen very young. The relentless drive for excellence comes from, I believe, a tortured background. There's no way you get to that level with having a normal, stable childhood, or a childhood that even resembles other people around you. It was clear that it affected him in some ways. And it's just important to understand that if we're going to be able to understand the man of today.
The reason I funded Tesla is because I think it's very important that we accelerate the adoption of electric vehicles. And it was not with the idea of just creating a sports car that's very expensive, because that doesn't really change the world. That's not going to make a dent on our energy usage. But the sports car is really just an entry point to the marketplace. And from the sports car, we'll go to Model 2, Model 3. And in each case, with each successive model, we'll increase the production volume and decrease the price.
Tesla, named after Nikola Tesla, the genius man that tried to, well, actually broke trying to save the world. Funny enough, Elon has that same sort of complex, that same sort of desire to not just shift society, but change society in some way, in a way that he presents as good. Now, I want to be a smidget critical. I think some of it is he genuinely feels that this is a force for good. And I think a part of it is also it makes him a lot of money. And one thing about Elon Musk, he makes a lot of money. He's very good at selling in this way where you feel having an electric car is vital for humanity.
It's important that we accelerate the transition to sustainable energy. That's why electric cars, it matters whether electric cars happen sooner or later. We're really playing a crazy game here with the atmosphere and the oceans. We're taking vast amounts of carbon from deep underground and putting this in the atmosphere. This is crazy. We should not do this.
Some of the data and the findings into that are not necessary. They don't correlate perfectly, but hey, it's a good endeavor. It's a good endeavor. But this is where I say he separates himself from everyone else. He didn't stop there. He created SpaceX around a similar time, which he then sold as the thing that he's going to use to colonize Mars. Because when the Earth goes down, we need somewhere else as a backup plan, he says. It sells well, but it's very important to say this. It's on the government's dime. In fact, Tesla nearly went broke in the mid to late 2010s. And it was a government bailout. The reason I bring that up is, despite his selling that this is for the people, he uses the people's dime to enrich himself ultimately, in one cynical way to look at that. And the reason I bring this up as well is because you see, as Tesla grew and became this mega luxury electric car, SpaceX grew as well, which he did revolutionize not just electric cars, but space travel, making space travel more cost efficient. It's important to have it there.
Substantially improved. I couldn't see any fundamental obstacle to improving the cost of rockets, so that's when I started SpaceX. And then I think you've got space tourism or space adventure. That, I think, is likely to be the biggest driver. Right. And then long term, assuming that we fulfill the president's vision and we establish a moon base and then go on and establish a Mars base, supplying those bases is a huge, huge business.
Despite all that being true, he fell in love with the attention, with the validation. You see more interviews, you see more podcasts with Joe Rogan. They're amazing podcasts. I find them more interesting. You really get a sense of the man. You don't think he's a bad guy. Definitely intense.
There's one Doge. I mean, I feel you're somewhat trapped in the NPC dialogue tree of a traditional journalist. So it's difficult when I'm conversing with someone who's trapped in the dialogue tree of a conventional journalist, because it's like talking to a computer.
I definitely believe what some of these clips have shown, that he's someone that struggles to hear opinions that are adverse to him, especially if you spend a long time watching these pods as I have.
Looks like that right to you? Looks like that's about to change.
I just asked you a question. Please answer. Does that seem right to you?
I don't get a bad guy, but the malevolence or benevolence or God complex is definitely there. But it really is highlighted when you see the purchase of X.
I was worried about that it was having a corrosive effect on civilization.
So first and foremost, free speech is like the thing he says over and over.
Free speech? Free speech. Free speech.
Free speech is the only way that humans are going to thrive, and because Musk's main mission is the advancement of human civilization, he must buy Twitter and make it the free speech platform. The platform where we have perhaps the most important conversations in the world. He says this over and over, like in this tweet where he says, "This is a battle for the future of civilization. If free speech is lost, even in America, tyranny is all that lies ahead." So that's number one on what he says his motives are.
I think part of it is that it's where it was located, which is downtown San Francisco.
Look, guys, let me just get to the point with this one. This is when I think Elon gets a bit dangerous. This is when I think Elon becomes maybe his scariest version of himself, because he speaks about this is a purchase for free speech.
Having a public platform that is maximally trusted and broadly inclusive is extremely important to the future of civilization.
You know, there was and I want to bring a small history lesson, because I hate going back and forth, but there was a block before, like a halt in the purchase of, or Twitter before then, but now X, because there were government agencies involved, so it made it difficult, and he wanted everything to be transparent with them before he did that. Those companies were not limited to, but were the FBI and the CIA. Why would they do that? Potential terrorist threats. They like to spy on us. Let's keep it real.
It's been revealed today that hundreds of former FBI agents and CIA agents work for Twitter, Google, and Facebook. The FBI tells Elon Musk to stop spreading conspiracy theory, but refuses to share their own records about manipulating Twitter employees.
Another claim is that Twitter was getting paid millions by the FBI. Have you found anything on that?
Yeah, so $3.4 million, according to you, you'll see a tweet that explains that there is perhaps some connection in the relationship between Twitter and the FBI. The FBI says that under federal law, companies are allowed to seek reimbursement for the costs they incur to respond to FBI records requests, for instance, subpoenas, if they have to comply with anything that the FBI is ordering them to supply as part of an investigation.
Elon has been has allowed more government oversight over his X than there was with Twitter. Now you see, everything he's saying is true, but it's contradictory to how he has behaved since he's had Twitter. In fact, he made sure that Twitter employees enhances his tweets more than the president.
He lets big accounts that were previously banned back onto the platform, including former President Donald Trump, comedian Kathy Griffin, lawmaker Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jordan Peterson. Within a few months, he posts this tweet around the Super Bowl, and he notices that this tweet gets less engagement than the tweet by President Joe Biden. Elon does not like this. He calls an urgent meeting and tasks 80 engineers to quickly rebuild a version of the algorithm that will allow his tweets to be artificially boosted by a factor of 1,000. I was kind of skeptical on how sensational it was reported, but through my conversations confirmed that this actually went down.
Let me keep it real with you guys. This is his microphone. This is his megaphone, in fact. This is a way, in my opinion, where he's gone from billionaire that wants attention, that wants validation. It's something that's quite common, that billionaires feel like they don't have the same status as celebrities, even though being richer. This is where he wants control, not only over our perception of him, but control over the narrative. And this is where he, I believe, fell in love with the mega idea, because he has had more bans, and Elon himself has banned more people individually he personally doesn't like than what was happening when we had Twitter. So this platform of free speech, to me, is media marketing.
Thank you so much for buying Twitter.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so much.
You're welcome.
I'm not exaggerating when I think you changed the course of history. You made a fork in the road. We were headed down a path of censorship and of control of narratives that is unprecedented.
Really? Yeah, like Twitter, buying Twitter. Buying Twitter is the single most impactful thing for free speech, especially on these issues of being able to talk freely about a lot of subjects that are more sensitive.
Imagine if he didn't buy it.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been...
Imagine if the same ownership was in place and then Harris wins and they continue to ramp things up.
It sounds good, it reads good, but it's not the reality. It doesn't match the data, it doesn't match what's been said, and let's all keep it real. What X has turned into is a basic porn site. It's a site with really extreme right-wing views.
When he posts political propaganda ads, like this conspiracy video that says that Democrats are letting immigrants in to turn America into single-party rule, and has almost 100 million views, I think he's doing that not because he agrees with this factless piece of propaganda, but because he loves to rile people up. Though maybe he does agree with it, I don't know.
I am not a man who hates right-wing views. I don't know what you think I swear.
Pause.
Why for that? That's crazy. But I don't know if you think I'm left-wing, if you think I'm right-wing, but what is important to say is I don't have a problem with having right-wing discourse there. What I have a problem with is that it's become so right-wing and extreme. There's so much I'm not even, corn. There's so much corn on X. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And I say that to say, I don't feel Elon has been very honest there. Or maybe it was a genuine oversight. However, when he became a politician, which is crazy to believe, but he did.
I tell you, we have a new star. A star is born, Elon. Now he is. Now he's an amazing guy. We were sitting together tonight. You know, he spent 2 weeks in Philadelphia and different parts of Pennsylvania campaigning. But he's a character, he's a special guy, he's a super genius. We have to protect our geniuses. We don't have that many of them.
When he got involved in politics with Trump, people did get a bit worried. They didn't trust his genuine earnestness for just wanting free speech. He didn't want too much oversight. He felt that the government, especially Joe Biden's become malevolent at the time. No one's got a problem with that. And he spoke about fraudulent finances going on, fraudulent social services. When you look into the facts, it's not that true. He said he's going to start cutting things in government, running government like a business.
So if you're handling the government like a business, you're going to have to go through all of these departments and do the exact same thing that you're doing with USAID. So how does that scale up? Like, how many people do you need to do something like that?
Listen, anytime you hear a businessman saying government needs to be run like a business, just know they don't understand the truth. One thing I'm going to say about busting the myth about geniuses, Elon Musk is defo a genius, so I'm saying he's not a genius, but we overinflate what a genius is. We think because someone has a specialist skill in one thing and is great, exceptionally great at one thing, we presume that they will be great at everything. That is not true. There's definitely crossover, but that's not necessarily how it works. So his cutting of people when he was in X, Tesla, and now government's Department of Government Efficiency is what he ran. It didn't work. It's been a mess. The $2 trillion he promised.
Do you think we can rip out of this wasted $6.5 trillion Harris-Biden budget?
Well, I think we can do at least $2 trillion.
Yeah!
Yes.
$2 trillion.
Your money is being wasted, and the Department of Government Efficiency is going to fix that.
It didn't happen, folks. It didn't happen. It was nowhere near. It wasn't the 2, it wasn't the 1. In fact, it was near 150 billion that he was cutting and potentially was saving.
Right? So trying to run a more efficient government isn't supposed to mean the same thing as cutting entire programs and departments. So do you think that this is where that's headed? Do you think that, maybe you're more optimistic than I am, but I am worried about this.
I mean, it's possible Elon Musk is getting bored. He moved out of the White House and everything. Maybe he won't even want to be doing this in 6 months. But yeah, I mean, it's in a bad spot right now, and it'll probably get worse. I mean, everything is. You said that at worst it's dishonest. I think at first it's dishonest.
And the reason I bring that all up is to say that this is where I wonder: does he have a need for chaos? Does he see chaos and control of chaos as a part of what leads to innovation and change? It worked with Tesla. He was disruptive with a fossil fuel market when it comes to cars, innovating with electric cars. He did the same with PayPal. He came from a chaotic background as a kid, hence why I brought it up. Perhaps that's where he sees it. But governments cannot operate with chaos, not at least of all, not in the way that he's going for it. And the reason I'm bringing that up as well is I'm trying to paint this picture, and I don't know how clear it is, that this is a guy that has genuine genius, genuine charm, but I believe is now fell in love with his own hype, his own validation, his own attention seeking, and genuinely believes that he knows best for people. And the thing I worry is that he's so easily skewed and moved depending on the talking point of the day.
Mr. President, I know you want to move past all this intrigue over the Epstein files, but I do want to ask you to clarify something you said this morning. You said this was all a hoax. Has your Attorney General told you this was a hoax? What evidence have you seen?
No, it's not the Attorney General. No, I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters and Comey before him. Some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net, and so they try and do the Democrats' work. The Democrats are good for nothing other than these hoaxes. They're bad for policy.
Post-edit clip here. It's going to be about Jeffrey Epstein. We're going to talk about Jeffrey Epstein, the bombshell tweet Elon Musk gave out, and why. Like I said, I believe he tries to control the narrative through chaos. This is an example of him using X as his megaphone, as his way to control the narrative. Again, there might be some truth to it, but my thing is, he said he's going to drop a truth bomb. The truth will be revealed. Reveal the truth now. Reveal all the truth. Don't give us half steps. If you're giving half steps and you're revealing it on a public platform like this, to me, it implies manipulation. It implies control. The way he's navigated, to me, he's planning a coup. If this was Game of Thrones, he'd be Littlefinger. put it like that. And I just want people to be hyper aware of that. And it's a very clear example of controlling the narrative through chaos. Is it true though? Has Trump got something to hide? Trump's relationship with women? We know it's not the best. It is not the best. And it could be a truth to it. I will say, let's wait and see. There were many people on that list. Not everyone on the Epstein list was necessarily involved. Does it mean they were enabling? Perhaps, but it does not directly correlate to the behavior. You can be around someone who misbehaves, doesn't necessarily mean you misbehave. We need it to be revealed. We do not know the truth. There's too often people are guilty by association and we haven't even really given it too much critical thought. I don't like that. Time will reveal all. Trump, I am not defending Trump, but assumptions, let's wait a bit. Trump, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Let's keep it real. I don't know exactly what he's waiting for, so I'm super near the camera, but I don't know what he's waiting for. It's very frustrating. And nothing, in my opinion, exemplifies his need for chaos more than his creation of a political party.
To start a new political party called the America Party. Mark Cuban's interested. Anthony Scaramucci, interested. Others coming and saying interested. Some are saying Vivek may be interested. He's just waiting to become a governor. But here's what happens. He announces it. Everybody online, you know, the CFO of Tesla is going to be the CEO of the new political party. They ask Elon, is this true? No, we haven't filed with the FEC yet. And how hard is it for him to start a political party? Because the last person that won to become a president of a new political party was a guy named Abraham Lincoln in 1860. And a new political party was a Republican Party. And FYI, Scott Bessent, they're asking him, hey, what do you think about Musk's political party? He says, I wonder how his board is going to feel about him wanting to get distracted with not running the companies, instead getting involved in politics. So guess what happened today on Monday after Musk announced that he's starting a new political party? You know how much market valuation Tesla lost today? $80 billion just today. That's right. Tesla lost $80 billion today, right after Musk announcing that he's starting a new political party. The market reacts. We're going to talk about that today.
I think no point brings this out more than him creating his own political party. What happened when Trump took over? There was a lot of contention because Musk is trying to change things way too radically in government. Despite what people think, and I speak of revolution all the time, it's one or the other. You can't have wholesale change while trying to keep stability. And all the promises that he's made, there's more tax cuts for the rich than ever before.
Ryan, this is what Senator Hawley has been arguing, and you can't call Hawley a progressive, but he is saying, who do you think the Republican voters are now? Republican voters are no longer these fiscal hawks that they used to be. They're not Reagan fiscal hawks. Republican voters are now working class folks who need a break. Don't take Medicaid from them. Don't give a tax break to the wealthy on the backs of the working class people who put us into office.
Trust me, if I had a penny for every time I said that, it's crazy. But his creating of a new political party, to me, is an example where he has an intention for control, for taking over and becoming either the de facto fundee for the leader or the leader himself. I don't know which one, because in order to become president, he would need to give up his companies. He's someone that loves control. I couldn't see that. I don't know if I can quite see that. I don't know if I agree with some of the people that say that, but you can see he's taken it even further. He's gone from being the highest donor to now having his own political party. You're probably wondering, how can he do that? It costs a lot of money. Someone worth over 100 billion has what? He can do this. He can do this. Will it work? It's very expensive. It's very difficult. Us as human beings, we don't like change too much. So will people vote for a third party in their droves? Maybe, maybe not. But someone like Elon Musk has the capacity, has the finances, and genuinely has the charisma to pull it off. So time will tell. And the reason I say that, I've been quite critical of Elon, and I think he's an example of triumph over hardship, innovation, hard work. I actually find it genuinely charming, and I do enjoy listening to him when he talks about the technical side of things, his processes. I enjoy it. I'm that kind of guy. I kind of enjoy things like that, watching someone's steps. I come to the conclusion when I did all this research for it, that he's a genius in tech. Why is he Why do we think he would be good for government? I don't even know if he runs a super efficient business. I just know he creates great products, because he was sacking everyone in Twitter/X, now X, only to rehire them. Doesn't sound super efficient. Does sound like he lacks awareness. He sounds comfortable with that, and it works for him. Have at it. I'm not mad at that, but I hate the reverence that people give to people because they're great at one thing. Because you're a footballer doesn't mean you're going to know everything about geopolitics. When we ask them those questions, I get uncomfortable.
I've got a question for you. So, do you think what he's done is worse than racism?
I mean, it's totally different. They're two different things, isn't it? When you're comparing
I'm not condoning a thing that he's done.
When I see billionaires put into positions of morality, philosophy, I often think we are just doing more to inflate their ego and have opinions from people that we respect in one aspect and generalizing throughout all aspects of society. And I guess I'm asking for more critical thought in how we review and just take people like Elon, Jeff Bezos, even Trump. How Trump got here was this myth of the billionaire. He's smart. Well, he's not even a billionaire, Trump, but whatever, he's super rich. We run with these narratives, assuming because someone's successful in one thing, they'll be successful in everything else. I've said that, but I just want people to have a bit more discernment. And we almost create this godlike status they develop. We almost pour too much social clout into one thing and assume it's into everything. And I'm asking, like I said, more critical thought. Don't be so easily deceived by what these people say, because the narrative of, hey, he took over X, now it's a platform for free speech. If you've been on X, you probably know it's become a platform of porn and wild comments. Doesn't match the reality. And I just ask for a little bit more discernment from younger viewers, older viewers, and much alike. I know sometimes when you don't have the data, when you're thinking about things, no one's going to spend hours like I have researching to see if it's true. I get it. And I've even gone off the back of other people's research, really. So I understand that. But have a bit more discernment. Don't trust Elon too much. But that's not me trying to tear Elon Musk down. I actually think there's a lot more good to take from him. But if we build overhype what's good and downplay what brought him to that status anyway, I think we missed the point of his success. And that's really where I choose to conclude today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And what's this underneath my nose?
The world is your oyster.
Sure.
I'm just a genius in training.
Well, success for me, for Tesla, is that we've accelerated the advent of electric cars by at least 5 years. So that should be.
Drug dealing just to get by. Stack your money till it gets sky high. We wasn't supposed to make it past 25. Joke's on you, we still alive. Throw your hands up in the sky and say, we don't care what people say.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
I wrote that just now.
Sure.